right, it's the Saturday edition of TVC Breakfast. We call it TVC Breakfast Saturday, and thanks for joining us again. Let's look at the front pages of some of the major Nigerian newspapers this morning and see what they are all talking about. The first before us is Saturday Vanguard, and the turnout of some cases at the Supreme Court yesterday, some gubernatorial election reviews, so to speak, before the Supreme Court. Well, the big story on the Saturday Vanguard is captioned, Supreme Court rights all wrongs of the Court of Appeal by reinstating Kano Plateau governors and declining to sack 6 others, with Governor Sanwo-Olu, Yusuf, Mutfwang, Mohammed Lawal, Mufuru, Oti, and Otu all emerging victorious. Other stories there, still on the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry scandals. There is a story captioned From Farouk to Edu, that's the former minister and the now suspended minister, with the writer saying the murky reality of poverty alleviation programs in Nigeria. And today, AFCON begins. That's the African Cup of Nations. But there is concern. Saturday Vanguard calls it Shaky Eagles. That's the players defending Nigeria, beginning their AFCON race tomorrow in their first match against Equatorial Guinea. Nigerians, however, banking on surprise, while Ivory Coast, the host nation, play Guinea-Bissau in opener today. And up above the masthead, Dangote refinery set to begin production. And this quick quote from Tiwa Savage, I feel honored, she says, beginning another phase of my career. Emmanuel.
We now move on to the Guardian newspaper. And the big story here says, governorship tussle, jubilations, our Supreme Court void sack of governors, Yusuf, Mutfwang, and Dauda Lawal. Page 2 there of the Guardian newspaper, and we have here the Chief Justice of Nigeria and the President of the Court of Appeal. There's a picture story there. And Tinubu suspends National Social Investment Program. Page 3, let's work for the good of Nigerians. President Tinubu charges APC governors. No date yet for inauguration of Supreme Court's new justices. NJC clarifies. And judgment justifies decision to end Gilbert petitions in Apex Court, says Nigerians. And very interesting there, you know, when the judgment is in your favor, definitely it is a victory for democracy. But when it's not, it is a rape of democracy. Very interesting coming from Nigerians there. I'll quickly move on to the masthead. There we have the Guardian newspaper. How migration policy affect Nigerians, Britain's economy there talking. And we have inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem is key to bridging funding gap. Florence Chikes there talking. And that's what we have there on the front page of The Guardian.
The Saturday Punch is next. Of course, the Supreme Court happenings on Friday still dominating the papers so far. Still on the governorship polls that have now been concluded, at least for these 8 states. Governors now following the Supreme Court definite judgments. The affected governors now woo challengers after the Supreme Court affirmed their victories. Of course, their supporters celebrating Governor Sanwo-Olu, Yusuf, Otu, Mohammed, and Mutfwang. Lawal and Oti seek opponent support, but lawyers and civil society groups are calling for urgent electoral reforms, saying courts should not determine poll winners. Other stories there, Edu's return doubtful as Tinubu suspends cash transfer and power and other programs. And on AFCON, Super Eagles begin battle for 4th title in Cote d'Ivoire. Of course, we wish the boys all the very best. Punch is also reporting that things fall apart as Davido family squabbles deepen. And following the documentaries released on the late TB Joshua, worshippers are saying nothing will change our loyalty to him. The Vice Chancellor's Council Secretary is quoted as saying how fake professors infiltrate Nigerian universities. You can get all these details from the Saturday Punch.
And we'll move on now to the Nation newspaper, and the big story says Supreme Court, Yusuf, Mutfwang, Lawal survived. Page 4 there of the Nation newspaper. Jubilation as party supporters storm Kano Streets. Apex Court affirms election of Sanwo-Olu, Bala, Otu, others. Analysis, Supreme Court and Plateau lawmakers asked by appeal court. Well, you recall that there are some statements made by the justices in this particular judgment. Dangote refinery begins production. Well, Nigerians should be happy with this development. Right, on the masthead, we have Tinubu suspends and power CCT orders over fraud probe. And federal government reclaims control over equity holdings in discos. Restructures equity management. Page 29 there of the Nation newspaper.
Leadership Weekend is now before us. Supreme Court rules in 8 Goba races. Yusuf, Mutfwang, Lawal survived scare. 5 other governors emerged victorious. Ganduje Gawuna stunned into silence. That's on the Kano governorship election. While in Lagos, road survival, the governor's opponent to stay in politics. Lawyers, on the other hand, call for constitutional change over sacked lawmakers. Of course, this is a development concerning many following the aftermath of the Supreme Court judgment regarding the Plateau State governorship election. Of course, there are picture stories of dramatic scenes from the states concerned with the winners and the losers of these, elections, so to speak, also on the front page. Tinubu suspends National Social Investment Program, federal government to complete Abuja-Kaduna Road in 2 years. That's according to the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. And at the bottom of the front page of the Leadership Weekend, crude oil theft, Tantita impounds ocean-going vessel in Bayelsa State.
And we move on now to the Blueprint Weekend. And the big story here says Africa draws global attention as AFCON 2023 kicks off today in Cote d'Ivoire. We expect the Super Eagles of Nigeria to come out in their best performance. Morocco, Senegal, Egypt's hot favorites. Salah Osimhen battle for Golden Boot. And we have local equity market sustains bullish runs, gains to 144 billion naira. And we have busy Friday as Supreme Court okays 8 governors' electoral victories. Tinubu suspends EDSIP, that is the National Social Investment Program, resists ministerial panel to review operations. And let's work for the good of Nigerians. Tinubu talks APC governors. On the masthead, we have Armed Forces Remembrance Day, how fallen heroes should be honored. Widows, veterans, others, they are talking. It should go beyond the laying of the rates ratios that we normally have. Pages 26 and 27 there of the Blueprint Weekend.
All right, talking about the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, that will be celebrated next week.
Yeah.
And that explains all the badges that we have been wearing all this while to honor our fallen heroes. All right, well, that will be an ongoing discussion. But in the meantime, let's look at the last paper now, Saturday Independent. It is, and there is an exclusive report on tragic stories of amputation, death abound, as Okadas, commercial motorcycles, return to Lagos. How my leg was amputated after bike accident, that's from a victim. And a nurse is quoted as saying that beds at the Igbobi Hospital were never empty before the ban. And there's also a position attributed to the Lagos State Special Advisor concerned, saying police, army, flout our law on ban of Okada. All right, page 8, that's where you get all the details. There's been a recurring problem in the state. We even discussed it on the show earlier in the week. Harvest of victories as Sanwo-Olu, Yusuf, Kabir, Mutfwang, 5 other governors win at Supreme Court. Nigerians react, of course, saying judiciary is trying to restore integrity. Tinubu suspends National Social Investment Program over ongoing investigation and plan to alter Office of the National Security Advisor recruitment law sparks worries. All this and more, you can check them out on Saturday Independent and indeed in all the papers where there's so many interesting news items competing for attention.
But the Lagos State government should also work on this issue of Okada returning to the street.
Absolutely.
And to our roads.
Absolutely. In my area yesterday, a particular bike man I met yesterday was saying, no. And this is an area that is not among the banned areas. You know, these are the inner streets. And he was saying, we hear the governor is coming. He's coming to, and so police officers and other security agencies or agents, you know, are on guard to ensure that we behave ourselves so we don't have a repeat of what happened, you know, a few weeks ago when the governor nabbed a soldier and other people who were taking flying banned routes. Well, we shouldn't
wait till when we have the elections.
We shouldn't wait till then.
Before we start banning.
We shouldn't wait. And in any case, like I said, this was an area that is not even on the banned routes. Okay. Yes, but so there's an issue of even areas that are not bound, that are not bad or banned. Now you're seeing overzealous officers who are now trying to milk from the commercial motorcycles. If you don't know your rights, you probably would fall into. Even if you know your rights, what can you do? It's you against an armed officer. So, you know, there are so many anomalies that we hope will get corrected.
Definitely.
All right. That said, coming up on TVC Breakfast Saturday, the governors of Cross River